Hello, I'm Carly, and I'm here to present some of my favorite AI tools for teachers, hopefully to help you engage students in your classroom, just make your lessons more fun, and take a little bit off your plate, put some of it onto the AI plate, and give yourself a little bit of your life back, right? We can all use that. So here we go. Here's a little image that I made with AI on there, and we'll talk more about that as we go. Okay, let's dive in. So one of the most important things first is to talk about prompt writing. And prompt writing is what you need to get the most out of AI, no matter what type of AI you're using. So the better you get at writing prompts, the better your output is going to be. So there's a great article here from Columbia for their teachers going to school, and it gives you all the tips for writing your prompt and making it more exciting. Okay? So you definitely want to be specific and don't be afraid to tell it what you want. And remember, what you get out the first time is not your final output. You keep working and prompting to get the best version of what you're looking for. Okay? So one of my favorites is Eduade.ai, and I find that this site is really great for trying to have some more fun in your classroom and also trying to create more STEM-centered lessons. So things like the 5 E's and project-based learning designs, it has those things built right in. It does rubrics just like every educational AI site you're gonna see, like great rubrics, you'll find one that you like. I like the science end of this. I taught anatomy and I liked finding that, but STEM applies to all subject areas, right? Even English, ELA, psychology is my background. So using these STEM lessons in here is great for critical thinking. And I'll take you here and show you a few things that I like. It also has like administrative tools and things. So on Eduade, right? Here's something that you could do at the beginning of the year as school's starting. Under administrative, you can pick here, and this is free. Everything I'm showing you here is going to be the free version of these sites. All right, so I wanted to create an icebreaker for one of the first days of school. I typed in the prompt, class expectations and community building and having an empathic classroom. So especially that's something every classroom, no matter what subject, would want. And then it created 3 different activities for me. The first one I can't ever see myself doing, but as I scrolled through, the third one sounded like me. I've coached cross country and swimming, and this challenge relay really spoke to me. So this is definitely something that I would do. And it gives you all of the tips here, all the steps, relay format, you're using a timer, what you need, aligning it to your goals, and different even modifications that you would want here as well. For my 5E lesson, I wanted to create something STEM-based, so I typed in about trauma-related disorders and a journey towards healing. It gives you the objectives, and then the 5 E's: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. It has them creating something, and then you could actually ask it to give you the rubric for each of these different activities that it has in here. So easy to use games here. This is where I was saying having the fun. This Trash Get Ball review game, sounds like kids would love it. There's an escape room up here. You can create a Jeopardy board, a bingo board, but the review game would work really for any subject. My workspace over here. Right, and here's my questions for my Trash Get Ball. So this is about psychotic disorders. You could make it a review about reading a novel, whatever your topic you're on. It gives you the directions and the gameplay, and it gives you the questions with the answers. So just fun reviewing for the end of a unit or something. It's really fun, and it gives you all this different information. The next AI site is going to be Magic School. You've probably heard of this. It's very popular. Elementary school teachers definitely use this one a lot, but there are great things for upper grades as well. So again, showing you the free version and what you can do with that. They have great rubrics as well. You're going to find that on every AI site for education, so you'll just kind of pick which one you like to interact with the most. Two tools on here that I really like. One is fun is the songwriting tool. You can show you right here. So on Magic School, I just wrote this about my son quickly, but you can go to Song Generator. You can see what my prompt was. I just put in his name and then some information about him, and you pick the song and the artist that you want it to match that new song to. You hit generate and it pops this up with the different verses and things, it's pretty great and funny. Would be great for maybe a fun assignment where you're having your students do like a character analysis from a book they just read or a time period in history. And then if you've got kids that are like exciting and want to actually perform it, that would really be something fun to add into your classroom. It'd be something to go along with a project. Another part of Magic School that I enjoy is this Make It Relevant. So you put in what your topic is and what you're teaching, and you kind of describe your students to the prompt, and they're going to take your topic and try to connect it to your students so they feel more engaged about the topic that you're talking about. So I just wrote things about the area that we live in and what's nearby, how old my kids are, my students, and then it just gives you some ideas on how to connect it to their lives and different activities and discussions to have to get the topic together. So I really like that. It's kind of a great like lesson starter as well. And then the last thing on here that I enjoy is the multi-step assignment, especially if you're teaching in a block and you need to kind of break your schedule up within your class period so that you're not doing the same thing the entire period. It gives lots of great information here. I wanted to be sure that it included the vocabulary that I wanted, and we're connecting it to a novel that we read, Words on Bathroom Walls. So the warm-up, the vocabulary you need, and with the definitions, and it's giving me connection to the character in the novel that we read and how they fit in with this terminology, a writing prompt, and you pick the standards that you want. I picked NJ, SLS, and then just like I do with psychology, it pulls in health, ELA, science. I usually pull in there too, since there aren't any specific to psychology. So that's Magic School. And then the next one I'm going to show you is Napkin AI, and so Napkin AI I find it pretty fun, and it can take a whole lot of text and give you options to turn it into some really cool images that then you can use into your slides. If your students are going to create a slideshow, it's great for them to summarize information into a visual representation, and then they can pick all like the different colors and images and all that. So there's a free version of this as well. So it's great to elevate your slide presentations, and you can export it, and then you could put it anywhere that you need it. You could put them onto worksheets that you're actually printing out. You can put them into slideshows, into videos. So it's looking like this. So this is their site. This is what I used for the one that's on my slide there. So I just was on Mayo Clinic and looking up anxiety disorders, and I want to look at the different types of treatment, and I wanted to put that on a slide. So I copy and pasted right from treatment all the way down on this slide. I pasted it right into here, into Napkin, and then this little blue lightning bolt will show up on the sides, so you can highlight more of it and you can create something from all the information, which is what I did, or you can just make an image from just one section at a time. So I'll show you both ways. So this is what I got, and you can change the colors once you're on here. You can change the images, you can change the font, If you want something different, you can go through and do all of those fun things, and then you can export it as, when you hit export, you can have a PNG, an SVG, a PDF, right into PowerPoint. You can pick if you want it a dark background or a light background. You can have it with no background or with the background. So lots of choices to make that image look pretty cool. And then to create a new one, I thought one idea would be, and this is without copying pasting anything in, I just used their prompt box, and I wanted to do a character map for the character that's in that book that I talked about before, Words on Bathroom Walls. So I asked him to do a character map about Adam and his relationships and his personality traits and all these different things. So maybe I want to look at his relationships, and I'm going to click on Generate Visuals. So it's reading that. If you can see these little blue dots, the magic is happening. And it's going to give me lots of options here. All right. So some will make sense for what I'm looking at and some won't. Like this makes sense. It's just got all the people that other characters in the book. When you export this and put it into like Canva or Slides, you could put an image of the main character right here in the middle. Like this one doesn't necessarily make sense. I want a little bit more information than just their names, which they have here. So I'm gonna look through. And this one looks pretty good. So it's his relationships and then a little description about each of them. And there's so many different ones that you can choose from on here. I do like the way that it has them all connected to him. So I'm going to choose this one. And then again, you can go in and change the colors and things. It does seem to put an image that's related to the topic on here. These are some of the hallucinations that they included because he does have relationships with them. So this would be something that I could then just export right onto my computer as a PNG, background off, download, and then I would be able to put this image into a slideshow for my students when we're talking about that. I think it would be also great for students to be able to do, again, to make their presentations more engaging and less wordy so they could talk about these character relationships from that image instead of just from text that they'd be typing onto their screen. Okay. And then this next one that I'm going to show you isn't necessarily AI. There is a little AI built into it. I just really love it, and I don't work for this company, I swear. I would love to, but I just wanted to share this. This is called Classroom Screen. It's classroomscreen.com. It is $3 a month, and I think totally worth it. As someone who likes to stay on task and does lots of stuff with groups, project-based learning, stations, all of that, this really has saved me. And then you can save these screens and you're going to be able to reuse them every year. So I do them by topic. This is one of them. I can show you on the actual website. So this, I can move everything around. So I've got the plan of what we're doing. This was from a Valentine's Day lesson, so you can check off the boxes as you go so you know what task you're on, and it's great for your students. You could put your objectives up here. You can put a poll. You embed YouTube videos so that they're there so you're not losing them from year to year and having to pull them up. Everything's on here. I can put the clock up here. You can have a countdown, images. This is a link to an assignment they're going to do in Canva, so it shows an example and directions, and then they can so they can see it right here on the screen. So as a school system doesn't have smart boards, this is kind of like a way to get around that and to keep yourself organized. And you can do it. This is what the workspace looks like. So I had for my AP class and my CP class, and I started doing it by dates, and then I realized that's silly because the date's going to be different every year. So I recommend saving it by topic, and you'll have that right on here. This is, these are just different fun things to do, especially if you're going to do stations. Everything's loading. You could put a QR code for something. Again, here's the plan. These are videos I might show. This is for them to go vote on a poll, an image I want to show, and then you could spotlight everything. So when I show the video, it doesn't have to be this size. You can spotlight it, and it brings it right to the center of the screen. And then you can go back. So classroomscreen.com. I would love to give, if anybody wants a one-on-one session of Classroom Screen, I'm here for it. So let me know. It's one of my favorite things. Okay. And then Canva and the AI tools. So Canva is what I've been using to show this slideshow. I do love using Canva. I have a Canva Classroom. It syncs really well with Google Classroom. It's free for teachers, so if you haven't been on it, you're missing out on a lot of great resources and things. So students, once you connect it to your Google Classroom, when you assign them stuff in Canva, they have access to everything too, to the premium version that you have as a teacher. So they don't have to sign up special. They don't have to just get the free version. They can interact with it the same way that you can as the teacher. I think just the slideshows that the kids make using Canva versus Google Slides are just so much more impressive and engaging. And when you're watching them present something, it's more exciting as the teacher as well. There's something on here called Bulk Create. So making things like certificates. I taught the secretaries at our school in guidance in the main office who are always making these for the end of the year, academic awards and things, these certificates, how to bulk create, and mind was blown. So that's a great tool to use on here. So Canva has some AI tools built in. So things like transforming and resizing your design. So I can show you that on here. So this is something that made here. I made it as a doc, but if I want to resize it into slides so I could present it, I would click up here and I want to make it a slideshow. So I'm going to copy and resize, and it's going to put it in slide format. So you could do that with a number of different things resources that you already have, and then transfer it into slides so that you can present it. And that's an AI tool. So you go to the Canva main site, click on Canva AI, and then design for me, and you can pick what you want here. I'm going to have it create a presentation from scratch on the themes in the Crucible. You could be more specific and write what themes you want it to have in there. And then it's going to give you different options to choose from, different types of styles. And then again, you can, in the box down here, ask me anything. Once you see your options, you can tweak it. So you can have it do different things for you. So let's see what we've got. Okay, major themes in the Crucible, right? And it's going to show you the different slides. There's about 6 slides. You can change the color scheme on here to fit something that you prefer. And then you can explore the different slides, and you can change the images and everything. So it's a great starting point here. So, time for Brisk. This is evaluating a bunch of different AI sites. When I think about what makes the most sense for teachers, for an entire school to probably take on, Brisk Education makes the most sense. I feel like it's the most approachable. So no matter what level of technology you're comfortable with as an educator, Brisk is something that you can handle. And I do like to say to teachers when they're first starting to use AI, and more specifically Brisk, think of it for making subplans. We all know that it's harder to be out of school than to come in school sick because you don't want to have to deal with writing subplans. Like, that's so much more work because you're not going to be there. So try using Brisk at the very least, to create a sub-plan and start there. And then you'll be amazed at the things that it can do. So I am a certified AI Brisk professional. And that just basically means that I'm a little nerdy about Brisk. So the first thing that you would do is you're going to download the Brisk extension. So you go to Brisk Education, add to Chrome for free, install it, and pin it to your screen. You'll get this little bee down here, and it'll also be on your toolbar. So if it doesn't appear on each screen, you're going to double click it up here and it'll pop up on your screen. This is why I think it's so effective, because it reminds you that it's there. As teachers that have been doing this for a long time, have been in the business of teaching, you're not thinking about AI really. You're doing things the way that you're used to doing them and putting in all that extra effort. But if that little bee is going to pop up there, it's a little reminder like, oh wait, maybe I can try something here and see if I can make things easier for myself. All right, so what can Brisk do? Lots and lots of things, and it keeps adding more and more. So by the time you watch this presentation, there's going to be even more things that it can do that I didn't even touch on. So it's great to, if you are a Chromebook school, if you're a Google school, Brisk makes so much sense because it's going to work with all the things that your school already has. Google Classroom, all the Google apps, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, all of that works seamlessly together. So you can, when you're assigning stuff on Google Classroom and your students are typing it on a Google Doc, you can replay it and watch them do it. So you can see if they're copying and pasting or if they're actually typing and how long it took them to complete that assignment. So that's great just for your peace of mind to know that they're doing the work that you want, and if not, you have some evidence as to what's going on. You can create, again, rubrics, Google Form quizzes with the answer key in them if you're creating multiple choice ones. And again, this is awesome for subplans. So if you have an article you want them to read while you're not there and questions to do it, the Google Form, it will already have the answer key built in, so you don't have to go back in and do that. You can Brisk from anything on the internet that is text-based, including YouTube videos that have closed captioning. You can create a Google quiz from there. You can make review sheets. You can create examples of assignments. So say you're creating an assignment for the first time and you don't have like a good example from a previous year to show your kids so they kind of get an idea of what you want. You can create that using Brisk. It's called an exemplar. Giving feedback on assignments. This is great for my ELA teachers, maybe history teachers. You can upload your rubric, and you can also, or you can use this Glow and Grow. So I'm going to show you how to use that really quickly. Let me just switch to my school. So I just quickly copied and pasted a little essay that I thought I would write. Comparison of Hester Prynne and Abigail Williams, so from The Crucible and from The Scarlet Letter. And this is just a short essay comparing the two characters. And I want to give feedback to my students using Glow and Grow. You could also upload your rubric and it would comment on their Google Doc based on the criteria from your rubric, which is awesome. I don't have that rubric right now, so I'm going to do it from Glow and Grow. You pick the grade. You can align it to your standards if you want. I'm just going to go for it here. And it's going to give them feedback. And then you can edit that feedback before it puts it on the top of their Google Doc, or you can just put it there. I would think this is awesome for first drafts, right? So they're going to write a first draft and they're going to have to go back and do it. This gives excellent advice for them to tweak and improve their writing. So Glow, it's going to say things that they enjoyed about this, and Grow, where it needs more work. So the Grow is what they're going to be doing before they resubmit their final draft. And just some more questions to make them dig a little deeper. Okay? And then you can say what you want. You can copy it and paste it. You can insert it right onto the top of their assignment. So then when they open it back up, they can see the feedback. So this is awesome. And you can, again, it didn't take much time. And especially if you're going to do it on a first draft for them, you could, this is great for them to then go back and have to redo. Okay. Also with Brisk, right? You can use it to interact with students. So this boost feature is something that really gives them a personalized experience. So here's an example here. So I ran this with one of my students. We were talking about the limbic system in the brain, doing a lab, and I wanted them to hit certain objectives here. So what I can do, and this is a mock student, so it's going to, you can see what they're doing. These little red marks are showing me that my student here is not meeting the standards or the objectives that I want them to, right? You can click on them and you'll see this in live time. So you'll see if they're off task or struggling right from the time that you start this. So this was called a pulse check, and it's like a little personalized tutor. And again, you can open it on a YouTube video, on an article, on one of your assignments. You can open it from a lab that you did. So really from anything, and it's going to ask them questions based on that. So welcome to our interactive quiz on the limbic system. Let's start with a question. It's making them type their answers, and there are at lower grade levels, it'll have multiple choice that you can do mixed in as well. So can you tell me the main function of the hippocampus? So on the right track, and then it's going to lead them and guide them to the next answer. I had her specifically write, I'm not sure, to see what would happen. And it says, okay, let's break it down a little bit more. So it's leveling it for each student. It's not going to give, I also think this is great after a group project where, not everybody was probably pulling their weight. This can be your exit ticket. So they now have to answer these questions. So even though they submitted this project with their group and presented it, you want to see that they actually got something out of that. So now this is going to kind of show you that they're going to have to answer these questions, and the person sitting next to them is not getting the same questions. So they can't really rely on the other people in their group to answer it for them, right? It gives compliments. I had her purposely try to type random things that had nothing to do with the topic, and it's going to give you that little red flag marked as inappropriate by the software. And then again, no problem. It helps you with spelling. It recognizes them even if they spelled it wrong. It knows what they're trying to say. So this is pretty awesome as just this one's called a pulse check, but there's different names for some of the different things. You can do a character chat for ELA. So you can pick a novel that you're working on, and you can have the student chat with the character from that book, which is pretty awesome. Okay. And let's go back here. All right. You can change reading levels and the language. You can translate articles or any document that you have. When it makes things for you, when you have it create lessons and things, it puts it right into a Google Doc and it saves it to your Google Drive, so you're not going to lose it. You can do letters of rec, respond to parent emails, all those great things as well. So this is what I would task you with if you were in my professional development session. Pick a YouTube video, an article, a web page, or even open a blank Google Doc. And then on that page, you're going to create and pick something. You can even pick where it says create something else, or you can tell it what you want if it's not an option that's already there. The options are there. I think that's great for people new to AI, that they don't have to come up with something on their own. Boost is the red backpack that's going to be on there, and you can do that tool, that one-on-one tutor tool. And I just want to throw this in here as it's interesting. The 2 Sigma problem, the search for methods of group instruction as effective as one-to-one tutoring. One-to-one tutoring shows the most success for students in any subject across the board, right? So here, there's summative achievement scores here. This is one-to-one learning. This is, what a normal classroom would be. You've got the bell curve here. That's AI, especially this Brisk Boost, can kind of create a little bit more equity and close that gap where it's being personalized and helping those students reach the desired outcomes. And just some ideas for each department within the school, some ideas that you can use. It works great with math, the Boost feature as a tutor. Use that with my own child as well because the math got too hard for me to do and help him with myself. Creating labs and STEM lessons, create do nows from a PBS NewsHour. Again, I had our Spanish teacher do some things on here with me, and she said it actually translated it great. Taking slides that they had in English and translating them into Spanish worked really well from her, from here. Okay. And just overall with AI, the 80-20 rule. So you want to have AI do about 80% of the work, and then you only have to do 20% where you're going in and tweaking it and making it your own. So think of that prompt box as a conversation starter, and that AI is your assistant. It's here to help you. You're telling it what to do and what you need, right? We could all use an assistant in all areas of life. So, and then remember that what it creates, your output is not the end of the story here. You need to say, oh, change this to do this, or make this in the voice of this, or I need make the rubric include a column for this. And then ask for those changes, because it's gonna mess up sometimes. If you take a look at this AI picture I created here, whose tail is this? Why is this extra mermaid tail here? We don't need this. It's just floating around there. So it's gonna make mistakes. It's gonna hallucinate. So you need to be aware of that. You have to check the output before you send it out to its final version. Okay. And let it build on what it's created. So ask for projects for your class. Now create a rubric for this project. Create this visual to go with this project. Use the Boost feature and to create an exit ticket. So the places you can take certain assignments is like there's no limit to it, and you can really go down a rabbit hole, and it can be really fun. But remember, this is supposed to help you take some things off of your plate. And then you want to find someone in your building that's like helpful for this. So I am located in the media center at my school now. So I am able to offer little mini PD sessions for my teachers one-on-one that want to learn more. So find that person in your building, whether it's another teacher or your media specialist. They would love to help you. And you can brainstorm together, because it is fun to create these interesting lessons, and you want your